Welcome in if you are a first time viewer. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscribes. And to those of you who have booked a personal reading with me, please keep in mind that these are general messages, so do not take them personally. Take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. So today's message is surrounding the root chakra, right? Growth and development, transformation, right? The frequency of evolution, right? So let's pull some cards to see what message you have for the collective at this time regarding the energy surrounding the root chakra. Help me to articulate clear and concise message in order for it to be received in order to want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you are worthy in order to serve the highest good, for the highest good of humanity, and for harm to none. What message do you have for the collective at this time surrounding the root chakra? I actually received this message before I received the solar plexus message. However, it's almost as if that one came, it was more pressing. So, hold on one second. That fairy one is starting coming out in the past two readings. So if you have not seen the past two readings, please feel free to check them out. There might be a message in there for you. And that align card also came out in the last reading. So if you have not seen the solar plexus reading, definitely check that out. Unconditional with loving, right? So there's definitely the space here of you being comfortable with growing into what it is that you are meant um, to pursue or achieve within this cycle, right? Within this moment, within this energy, within this frequency, within this circumstance, right? There's definitely an energy here of acceptance, right? Knowing who and what it is you are supposed to and meant to become, right? There's just the space here of you being comfortable with growing into everything that you are meant and desire to achieve, right? You not feeling the need to restrict yourself out of fear of the unknown, out of fear of maybe past circumstances or experiences, right? But you allowing yourself to kind of expand and grow into what it is that you have meant to create, right? Because I'm like sensing like an apple seed, right? Like allowing yourself the space, right? Allowing yourself the experience, right? To grow into something so beautiful, strong, firm that has the ability to create and feed life cycles of things, right? There is 100% like in accepting who you are and accepting who it is that you're meant to be, loving yourself for you, for all the things that you're meant to create, right? Loving and appreciating the spaces as well that you were placed in that were maybe dark and uncomfortable, but provided the necessary environment for you to become what it is that you are meant to, so that you are able to produce to your fullest potential. Clarify fairy woman. Because the fairy woman to me speaks to like freedom. It speaks to like your self expression, right? It speaks to knowing who you are. You have the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles, right? Loving and accepting all that you are, loving and accepting all that you have the capability to become, right? With the Five of Pentacles, not playing victim to your circumstances, not playing victim to the effort that you had to put in or the experiences that you had to go through to get you where you are, right? Because the Five of Pentacles is like miser energy. It's somebody who kind of I don't want to say pretends as if they don't have the answers, or it's just somebody who doesn't acknowledge the keys in which they have, the resources, right, in which they obtain. They may not be aware of the value of the resources that they carry. And so that, in a sense, is you not acknowledging all that it is that you do have to offer in a moment where you feel as if you don't have enough, in a moment where you feel as if you desire more. Because the truth is, you have more. You just have to go through the stages of evolution to reach that level of abundance, right? You have to go through that stage of growth so that you are able to transform into who it is that you're meant to become, so that you're able to produce at a free flowing frequency, right? And the way that the message is coming through is very slow, right? So this is a transformation that is taking form in maybe um, a slower way, so that you're able to process what it is, right? You're able to process the necessary changes. You're able to process where you've been, where you are, where you're going, right? You're able to see the alignment between those three, right? Between your mind, your body, and your spirit, and how it's all connected, right? You're able to see a deeper sense of intention, right? You're able to see a deeper sense of connection within what it is that you're creating, right? In maintaining your sense of freedom, in maintaining your true sense of identity, in maintaining a sense of clarity that you may be seeking, and not only who you are, but who it is that you're desiring and working on becoming, right? Because there, it almost feels as if maybe you feel as if you don't have enough love to give, right? It's almost as if like there's like an energy of like a drought, right? Where you feel as if you're not receiving enough water in order to transform. You're not receiving enough um, water to feel the nourishment, feel the growth, right? Experience the growth. But there is like a waiting sense, right? Because again, like the way that the message is coming through is very slow, it's very staggered, it's very, um, it's not flowing as freely as it does sometimes. And maybe that's what this Five of Pentacles is. It's almost just like you feel as if maybe you're not receiving the resources that you need to grow and expand and change and transform within the frequency or time that you are trying to, right? But definitely keep in mind that time is not It does not exist in the physical reality in the same way it does in the spiritual reality, right? Time is a series of cycles, is a series of patterns, right? So where you may be seeing things as a day, a week, a month, somebody else or in the spiritual realm is only a moment, right? So definitely keep that in mind. Time is not consistent in the way that we perceive it. Hmm. Clarify, align. The tower. Hmm. The moon, right? So everything, the warrior of cups, everything that you are not, everything that is not conducive to where you're going is falling apart, right? Everything that is not conducive to, um, it's almost as if you're being shown everything that is not meant to follow you where you are going, right? You're being shown um, things that are not meant to continue on with you within this next season, right? Because the tower strips you of things that you have built, right? It strips you of the foundation of things that are no longer firm or no longer able to contribute to the stability of what it is that you have created, right? Because if it's not stable, then it's going to crumble, it's going to fall apart. But this is not just like things falling apart. This is God Himself stripping you of things that do not align with your purpose, do not align with your intention, do not align with whatever it is that you are feeling intuitively guided to create, right? You're also being shown, it's like a sense of awareness of the things that you are meant to be aligned to, right? The things that you feel more connected to spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, right? And it's almost as if like when God presents an opportunity, right, when He shows you things that are not working out for you, when He shows you things that are not aligned to you, right, and you don't make the move to remove yourself, right? You don't make the move to distance yourself from the things that are no longer again conducive to what it is that you are meant to create or produce within this reality. He's going to crush the foundation, right? He's going to remove those things. So it almost may feel as if you may be kind of like um feeling emotionally disconnected from certain things that you were tied to in the past, right? And this can be um situations. This can be the company you keep, right? Friendly, romantic, business, family, right? This can be like certain lifestyles. This can be certain habits, certain addictions, right? Where you may have intuitively felt, okay, this is no longer beneficial to my growth, right? This is more of a hindrance to where it is that I'm trying to go, right? But instead of moving or misaligning yourself from those things, you continue to exist in those cycles. So now this is things that are happening, things that may be occurring that it may seem that like things are just going wrong, things are just happening against your will, right? Things are taking place that you have no control over, right? There are things that are being shown to you that are just so detrimental to um the consistency of existing within that cycle, right? Existing within that mindset, existing within that connection or relationship, right? And so you have no control over how those things are being removed, right? Because when you were given the choice, you didn't make the choice. And so now that you didn't make the choice, God is making it for you. The Most High is making it for you. The universe is taking things out of your way again that are no longer helpful to how you're meant to proceed, right? To the things that you're meant to see, to the things that you're meant to experience, right? To the things that you have been feeling aligned to intuitively, right? Clarify unconditional. The Nine of Swords. Because of your fears. And that may be why you were so hesitant to let go, right? Because of your fears. What would it look like if I let go? What would I be left with if I let go? How will I, the Ten of Swords with the Eight of Cups? There was such a feeling of loss with removing yourself from this cycle, with letting go of this addiction, right? Because whatever it was that you were holding on to was a crutch within your comfortability. And now you're losing that crutch and you're learning how to walk. You're having to learn how to walk again on your own, right? You're having to learn how to gain your own strength within a place of fear, right? That you did not want to accept. It's almost as if you were kind of existing within that cycle, even though you were being shown that it was not aligned to who you were meant to be, aligned to where you were going, aligned to your purpose, right? You were still existing within that cycle because it felt comfortable, it felt safe, it felt secure, when in reality, it was taking your security, right? It was taking away your safety. But you felt secure in that because you were not aware of what true safety and security looked like, right? You created a place, you created a stable building on a foundation that was not stable within itself. And it doesn't matter how stable the building is. If the foundation is not stable, then the building is also going to crumble. Right. And so now you're being faced with the fear of letting go that you were so hesitant to accept. Right now, you're being faced with the fear of, or the sense of having to acknowledge all of the ways that you may have hindered yourself, all of the ways that you may have contributed to your own demise, right? Within continuing to exist within a certain cycle, because of your fears, because of your anxieties, right? Because you were existing within that sense of letting your thoughts get the best of you, right? And so when you, because the Nine of Swords is also like such obsessive thinking that it puts you in a place of stagnancy, right? It's almost like analysis paralysis, right? Where you think, you overthink, you process, and you make up these scenarios that don't even exist, right? The only place they exist is in within your imagination, right? And so because they don't exist within your reality, but internally they exist within your spiritual world, right? Within your mind, it creates a physical fear, right? It manifests outwardly. Therefore, in a sense, you end up betraying yourself because it's almost like you trick yourself out of your spot because you overprocessed, you overthought something, right? You didn't allow yourself to disconnect from the fears of having to walk away from something, right? You didn't disconnect from letting go of things that were no longer productive or safe or secure, right? Yeah. There definitely is like it's almost like there's a serious like because now I'm getting a headache, like a small headache. It's almost as if like you overthought something so much that it created so much like pressure. It created so much like tension within your mind, within your thought process that it contributed to the crumbling of this foundation, right? It created a sense of confusion, right? It created an illusion within what it is that you were overthinking. You processed, you took too long to make a decision, you took too long to think something through, right? You created scenarios in your mind that didn't really exist. And so ultimately you ended up betraying yourself because you created this cycle of overthinking, right? And so you remained within that element of fear. You remained within that element of hesitation, right? You were existing within your subconscious in a place of darkness, right? And the thing about the darkness is that it will show you things that aren't really there. It will present things to you that don't truly exist, but within your mind, right? Because it allows so much space, right? It's that void energy. The void energy is where you create. And so you definitely have to be intentional. You definitely have to be purposeful. You have to be mindful of what it is that you create within that void, because whatever you create will manifest in your physical reality, consciously or subconsciously. Whether you're conscious of what you're creating by overthinking, or whether you're not conscious of what you're creating, it's just that void of space, right? It's like a blank sheet of paper. And so, what you create in that void of space is what will be manifested within your physical reality. So, if you take that space within your subconscious to overthink your fears, then your fears will manifest, right? If you create that space within your subconscious to um, exist in the world of shame, then things will present themselves within your reality that you will be shameful about, right? Again, however that presents itself. But let's tap out of this. I'm going to pull 4 cards. One card for the major lesson you can learn surrounding this message. One card for the opportunities you can create surrounding this message. There's definitely the energy of, again, mindfulness. It's like moving with intention. Things are being more. It just feels like this is speaking more to like what's happening within the soil, right? What's happening within that process of how you're choosing or what you're choosing to grow and evolve from. What is it that you're being called to transform or change within yourself? Don't allow yourself to, again, betray yourself by sitting in that analysis paralysis energy, right? Don't overthink something so much that it prevents you from moving forward in any way. Because then again, that's you. That's your choice. Not making a decision is a decision. You're choosing to exist within your fears. You're choosing to exist within that darkness. You're choosing to exist within the illusion of things that aren't truly there. One card for what we can meditate on as a focus of this message, and one card for the cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. So one card for what we can learn, health, relationships, how to understand and identify what stability and security truly looks like, right? What a healthy connection really looks like. A healthy connection within your mind, a healthy connection within your body, a healthy connection within your spirit, a healthy connection within your relationships, right? Your relationship to food, your relationships to your habits, your relationships to your addictions, your relationships to your career choices, your relationships to your life cycles, your relationships to your environment, right? One card for the opportunities we can create surrounding this message. One card for the opportunities we can create. Peace, acceptance, right? Learning to let go, right, of things that are no longer helpful to your journey, things that are no longer beneficial, things that are no longer feeding, right? But letting go of things that are only taking, not adding towards your peace, not adding towards your grace, not adding towards your patience, not adding towards your abundance, your wealth, your success, your serenity in any way, right? Allowing yourself to experience the stability of peace, the security of peace, right? Allowing yourself the opportunity to exist within that space of like free flowing, right? Not creating resistance within your life, but allowing the flow state to happen, right? So if something presents itself that is showing you that it's not stable, that it's not secure, then allow yourself the freedom to let go. Allow yourself the freedom to release things that are no longer fulfilling to you, right? Because anything that is not fulfilling is simply going to drain you. It's one or the other. There is no middle ground. It's either fulfilling or it's draining. And so, definitely creating that space where you are able to accept that energy in that cycle and that frequency of what it feels like to be fulfilled, right? Again, not existing within your fears and not existing within that space of stagnancy because you are afraid of what the unknown looks like, right? Because you are afraid to create within that space of void. Because again, whether you are consciously or subconsciously, if you exist within that space of void and don't create anything, then nothing will come. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message, you'll just continue to exist within the darkness, right? Which is confusion. It allows things to create themselves. It allows things to present themselves that aren't really there. One card for what we can meditate on as a focus. That's too many. One card. Even how the cards are coming out, it's more of like a things are just more things are going at a slower pace. Things are moving at a slower pace. Things are moving at a more um I don't want to say intentional, but I guess that's the word. Meditating on what it is that you look, fear. This is that nine of swords. The fear. Giving yourself meditate on giving yourself grace for the things that you are afraid to face. Right? Give yourself the patience to overcome. Right? Again, not allowing yourself to remain stagnant, but again giving yourself the patience and talking yourself through it, right, and encouraging yourself, right, and loving yourself through the fear, right, and giving yourself the courage to face those fears, right. It's almost like having to nurture yourself through the darkness, having to cover yourself through the things that you feel fear and shame and hesitation to accept, right. Meditating on why you fear those things, what part of that makes you fearful, right? And then not only meditating on what it is that you fearful about, but gaining understanding about the fear within itself. Where did this start? Where did this create? How did this create? And why am I afraid to face it? Right? What is it about me that is afraid to acknowledge it? Right? And how can I love myself through acknowledging this fear? How can I love myself through taking on the transformation in having to overcome this space of illusion, this space of hesitation, right? It's almost like having to like parent yourself, having to encourage yourself, having to hold yourself in a sense, right? Hold yourself mentally, hold yourself accountable mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically for the actions that you do and don't take. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation, right? The conscious and the subconscious. Is this real, or is this something that I'm creating that doesn't really exist, right? What is being shown to me in my physical reality versus what are my fears that are taking place within my subconscious? Acknowledging both spaces, not just existing within the fear of void. It's like coming out of the dark. I'm seeing like moving through a space towards moving out of the shadows into the light, right? So it's almost like coming out of that dark corner where you are again creating these scenarios that don't exist. You're hearing things, right, that aren't really true, right? You're seeing things that aren't really what you perceive them to be because you're in the dark, you don't have a clear vision. In order to have a clear vision, you have to step into the light to see what is really true. What am I really hearing? What is the truth of what I'm hearing? What is the truth of what I'm seeing? What is the truth of what I'm feeling, right? You have to have light. Make it conscious. Don't allow your subconscious to take control over you. One card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate surrounding this message. Patience, and friendship, right? Building a connection with yourself, building a connection within the things that you create a relationship or a connection to, right? Your connection to your mindset, your connection to your habits, your connection, your relationship to your addictions, right? To your environments, to your circumstances, to your experiences, right? How are you building? What is the intention behind those connections? Right? Are they fulfilling or are they draining? Are they purposeful or are they just to fill a void? What is the connection to everything in your life? Not just to people, but in your life as a whole. How are those environments conducive to your growth, right? Into what it is that you are trying to create? How are those addictions conducive to your growth in whatever it is that you are trying to create, right? How is that mindset helpful to what it is that you're trying to produce, right? And again, allowing yourself the grace and patience to gain a sense of understanding within those elements, not just assuming based on what it is that you have created in that void of space. But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonated. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you have found something in it that is worthy of valuable to you. If you do feel like you have resonated with this video in any way, please don't forget to press that like button. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.